Hello there, how are you doing? Today I gonna share several topics from 4 to 5 subjects which are very necessary in context to an interview. Because whenever you are going for an interview, you are not having any choice related to any question. Because an interviewer can ask any question, he is having independence to ask any question from you and you must have to answer it. And if you are not answering it, then it's okay, but it will create a negative impact on you. And the question that you wouldn't answer is not that much difficult. The only problem is you are not aware about it. If you know that that topic is also very important, then you will definitely read it or learn it. So that's why today I will be sharing some topics which are very necessary in context to an interview. First of all, let's talk about the introduction part. Because if you are going for an interview, every interviewer asks you to introduce yourself. Once I was giving an interview, so there were 3 rounds, and in every round there is a new interviewer. So everyone is asking me to introduce myself. So if my introduction is strong enough, then definitely my chances of getting hired will be increased. So that's why just improve your introduction, or just create your introduction by yourself and try to speak it 20 to 30 times in front of a mirror, so that you will get that confidence to speak it in front of an interviewer any number of times. So this is what something about the introduction part. Now let's talk about the DBMS part, database management system. As I already told you, it is one of the core subject of computer science, so the more question could be arises from this subject. So in database management system, first of all, let's start from what is data, what is database, and then what is database management system, and what are the types of database management system. As there are 4 types, so SDBMS and NDBMS are not that much important, but RDBMS and OODBMS are very important. Now let's go into the RDBMS, so that interviewer could ask several questions related to RDBMS, that what is relational database management system, and which product of RDBMS have you used? Create a table to perform the CRUD operations on a table, and how you will able to create it. Then he could ask the relationship between tables from you, like one to one, many to many, many to one, and there are several types. So just try to create tables by yourself, because whenever I was giving an interview, so they have asked in 3 rounds, they in all 3 rounds they have asked me to create the one to many table. So that's why it's very important, just try to create it by yourself, so that you will be able to create such tables in an interview also. Normalization is very important and its types are very important, and just try to learn the definition of its types, because no one will be asking you to normalize any table. So just learn the table's definition, and if you are knowing normalization in deep, then it will be very good for you. And then transactions are very important in every interview that I have given. Every interviewer will definitely ask a question from transactions, so that's why transactions are very important. ACID properties are also very important, and they are based on transaction itself. So just try to learn it very well, and try to practice such questions which are based on SQL, and which are in which you will be using SQL joins and subqueries, because such questions are asked in interviews. So that if anyone is asking you, an interviewer is asking you such questions, so that you will be able to do that. So just practice such question from lead code and hacker rank. Keys, just like primary keys, foreign keys, and composite key, super key. Just learn everything about those keys, and functions in SQL, like unique, distinct, order by, and all these functions, because they could ask such functions. Now the topic like DDL, DML, DCL, all these are very important, so just learn everything about it. What is used for data control language, which keyword is used for data control language, which statements can you create in data control language, data manipulation language, and everything about it. So these are the topics which are very important, and just learn and grab everything about it. Now let's talk about the operating system. Operating system is also one of the most important subject which can be asked from you in any interview. What is operating system? This is one of the questions which was asked from me in an interview, that tell me what is an operating system and types of operating system. And you should be able to differentiate several operating system, like what is the difference between Linux and Windows, and what would you prefer if I'll be giving you the choice to use any operating system like Linux or Windows. So it depends on its security, so learn everything about it, and if you are knowing all these things in detail, then you will definitely be able to answer those questions. Whenever you are going for an interview in a product based company, so they will ask several scheduling algorithms also, like FCFS, SJF, round robin, and many more. So if you are knowing those algorithms, or if you are knowing the approach to create such algorithms, then it will be very good for you. Then the mass and one of the most important question or topic came into the picture, and that is multi-threading versus multitasking. Multi-threading is one of the most important topic from operating system. So just try to grab each and everything about the multi-threading, and what is thread, what is multi-threading, and how will you differ multi-threading and multitasking, and several topics and several questions arises from this topic. So just try to learn everything in it, and whatever object oriented programming that you will be you are knowing, so try to create the producer consumer code into that programming language, because the producer consumer code is one of the most asked question in several interviews. Then some small topics which are very important, like race condition, mutual exclusion, semaphore, deadlock, why deadlock occurs and how you can prevent it, and semaphore versus deadlock versus race condition, and several questions like that. Now let's come to the computer networks. In computer networks, there are two most important topics, and they are nothing but the OSI model and the TCP/IP model. The OSI model layers are very important, so try to learn the layers of OSI model very deeply. And when it comes to the TCP/IP model, then in TCP/IP model also the layers are very important. Why the TCP/IP model is used over OSI, and several questions was arises in front of me when I was giving an interview. So just try to learn it more deeply. Then several small topics like what is IP, what is IPsec, what is STTPP, and what is STTPS, and what is IPv4, what is IP, and several things like that. What is IPv6 and why we are using IPv4 yet, and why we are not using IPv6, and several questions like that. And several attacking techniques that hackers use, like DOS and ransomware, and so many attacking techniques are there. And then DNS, UDP, TCP, why UDP is faster than TCP, and why TCP is connection oriented, what is connection oriented, what is connectionless, and so many questions are there in context to these small topics. So just try to learn the related topics from it, because they are very easy, and they are also having the single line definitions. So just try to learn it, because they can throw any question, and you will have that knowledge to handle it. So now let's talk about the SDLC, software development lifecycle. Software development lifecycle is contains several methodologies to create the software, or to develop the software. So there are multiple software development methodologies. So one of the most important software development methodology is Agile, and as no one will be able to learn all the different type of methodologies. So if you want to learn a single methodology, then it will be okay, because if any interviewer is asking some questions related to SDLC, then you can forcefully let him ask the questions that you know, because I have done the same thing. An interviewer was asking several questions related to SDLC, so I have forced him to ask the question related to Agile, because I said Agile is one of the best technique, or one of the best methodology which is used for software development in IT industry. So that's why that interviewer started asking questions related to Agile only. And if you are knowing more than one methodology, then you can answer several questions. But if you are knowing a single methodology, then just try to emphasize more on that single methodology. So that's all about it, and if you are having any doubt, then just comment below. I will definitely try to answer you as soon as possible. So that's all about today. Thank you.